All right, Cornelius, we are on for session today. Give me a report.
The report is that I'm experiencing quite a magnificent internal change within my perception of not only my reality but myself as I've dived into these arts and sciences that have been taught in the mystery school here at Black Earth Productions in the Temple of the White Dragon. It's extraordinary because I'm finding perceptions are shifting. I used to think of this sort of a victimhood over certain memories and things, but
Fuck that victim mentality, man. That shit's programmed in terms of consciousness when it comes to the slave state of mind. That's what it constitutes, is victim mentality. This vampiric bullshit that sucks the fucking life out of everything around it. Eventually, it devours the individual as well, and perpetuated by the master-slave scenario. And that whole paradigm, it's all slavery. This is how a slave acts towards others. Some petty tyrant, punk motherfucker that doesn't understand or have the higher consciousness capacity to gauge reality correctly. And in the end, are fucked.
That's right.
It just boils down to breaking the moon chains in terms of the gauge of our perception. Moon chains, like I was saying about the nervous system and the correlation with astropsychology with our actual biology, the cosmology, our connection to nature and the universe. Breaking the moon chains are square waves and are what these scalar reversal technologies are essentially sending out, these pulse wave signals.
Right.
Knowing how to train yourself in terms of how to go into a place of observation. Where the fuck is this mentality coming from? So you're saying you've been able to get more insight from that place of the observer.
Correct. And what I'm seeing is that when I'm reflecting on my past, my upbringing, my youth, and even in young adulthood, and things that I used to deem disadvantageous, different experiences or predicaments, when I see them through the lens of myself, meaning my template, and all the aspects, I start to piece together different things that all were in alignment. All were opportunities to be in alignment as well.
Yeah.
So it really is extraordinary that you get this choice to align yourself and to master your thought and emotion.
The whole concept of ascension, alignments, transcendence, it's only a topic of conversation. This is what I notice a lot. No one's learning how to actually do that. And exactly. And the proper knowledge and wisdom in terms of that is very specific. There's general teaching in terms of protocol. That's to lay the base foundation when it comes to initiation into the occult. And again, occult means hidden. All of this has been hidden from us. We were not given this knowledge in terms of education, false education, to become a fucking victim, a fucking slave that's going to conform without their soul ignited to know the difference. It's the last fucking thing they want.
Right.
And all the information out there accumulated, especially now, isn't fucking going to get people there. What's going to get us there is having that based foundation, taking initiation like you have, getting the results that you have. Some hardcore shit. In fact, I don't think it ever lets the fuck up because of all the fucktarded morons in the world and all this crap that's going on in terms of the contrast of what the fuck we're talking about, man.
Yes, and to further expand on that thought of seeing your experiences and what you went through to get to where you are through the lens of your template, you get to extract different parts and say, well, actually, that was a benefit, and that was a challenge that made me grow into this part of myself and that part of myself, or develop this skill. So it's extraordinary when you get to reflect, and it's like a gold mine surrounding a challenging experience to actually create something. My father was out of the house a lot because he was a touring musician, and I was around my mom and my aunt. They were very overbearing. And then I got into all sorts of material around feminism and realized they've been trained to be overbearing.
Right.
And they've been trained to be abusive.
It's one of the most goddamn horrific fucking currents.
Yeah.
It's what I just mentioned about the current of Lilith. This is what the abyss constitutes. It sucks you the fuck in. It's a devouring force. Getting into the whole concept of the femme fatale. And this isn't all women out there. This is case by case.
Yes.
You can't generalize this kind of shit in terms of gender, in terms of race. And people that do that are fucking retarded.
They're idiots. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's case by case. And it has to be seen case by case. And even if you've experienced it, it doesn't mean that other people are going to be like. However, if you don't learn the motherfucking lesson, or you don't even know what the fuck is going on, and you're in confusion, you're in chaos, you can get imprinted. And you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
It just goes on. Yeah.
Right.
These ideas, specifically the whole anger and rage thing, for me, showing any sort of aggression, any sort of anger. And then that became depression. Especially as a man, you are not supposed to suppress your anger. You're supposed to express it, and specifically why. Looking back on it, I can see, well, wow, that actually was a real dynamic that was impressed upon me, being coerced. That, to me, is the toxic reversal of the feminine. The feminine is supposed to be led in a beautiful, inspiring way. It's all been reversed, and they think that men were supposed to be now some sort of soft followers, and it's terrible.
No, fuck that, dude. No. That goes against the alignment of nature and the universe, even violates the law of gender. People want to argue this fucking point in terms of cosmic law. You don't know cosmic law. You think you know cosmic law, but you fucking don't. It's a justification. This whole concept of Adam Kadmon, the hermaphroditic being, that's an abomination in terms of what the fuck alignment actually constitutes. It's a perversion and a twisting of the whole concept of the Hieros Gamos getting into alchemy. We all have the positive and negative charge of the energy force. We all have our soul. And without that ignited, you can't break through the triangulation factors in terms of dialectics and all of these other ideologies that are instituted by these corrupt motherfuckers to control us otherwise. Because a person that has not ignited their soul spark, the gates of true intelligence, can't even gauge it. Like I've said, the moon gate to the sun gate is perception to process.
That's right.
You can't even process the gauge of your perception because your soul spark is eclipsed. People's gauge of perception is confused, and it's confused on purpose. Wow. Right out of the goddamn fucking womb gate from the time you're a fucking infant. That's what people do not understand, let alone know the difference, to just be able to observe it. And with the accumulation of all the information, a fucking tidal wave of even greater fucking confusion that's corralling everyone into the idea that they're breaking the fucking chains, but they're just throwing more chains the fuck on. And they're becoming more confused. They're becoming more fucking retarded, assuming otherwise. Also in context to a false virtue.
False virtue is definitely the case. I was stuck in that for a long time. You could just say all the bullshit, love and light, there is no evil, all the moral relativism. It's horrific. The greatest trick is they tricked us that the devil doesn't exist.
And devil, again, is lived. These people aren't living. They're conditioned. All you got to do is step out into your local fucking area and take a fucking drive. Same thing day in and day out. Uninspired fucking mecca of corporate consumer fucking bullshit.
Every day.
Right. People conditioned to only give a fuck about their base desires. No one gives a fuck about higher consciousness. No one gives a fuck about connecting on a true soul level.
Yeah, they distorted the lower chakras even. You know,
they target the lower energy centers on a daily basis.
Correct.
In terms of the primal fears, fear of death, fear of not surviving, fear of non-existence, and abandonment.
Yes.
People are conditioned to abandon their soul, trade it out for what's targeted their base instincts, and then they triangulate that within our energy system from the solar plexus That's one of the main targets is the solar plexus.
The will
Because
force.
the solar plexus is the seat or the throne of the will, which is the heart, and the heart is sealed the fuck off. So the throne of the soul, it's your solar plexus. Okay. That's the chariot that drives the will. And if the will force is eclipsed, well, cause and effect is going to have its fucking recourse.
It's all playing out perfectly, actually.
People were never meant to know the things that I take individuals into in context to initiation. You've obviously got the results.
Oh, it's extraordinary. And I was getting a bit of results even before, I decided the initiation, but it's when you commit to co-creation. I committed to saying, well, I'm going to join.
Right.
And then that requires ethics, morality, discipline, responsibility when you decide to join. And that's where the rubber meets the road. So
exactly. And that requires a certain code to live by. And we live by a code. It's a code of conduct. It's a code of a better way of being in this world.
yeah, an extraordinary way of being, inspired.
Right. You can crack open the book of life that is you and actually take a look.
Mm-hmm.
We're not given this fucking knowledge, man. And people want to talk about the occult being this or that or whatever the fuck. Some of the most hidden knowledge is the knowledge of who the fuck we are. You're not going to be able to navigate everything else otherwise, especially without connection with the higher force and core intelligence. And this is why it's become more confused. It will come to those that seek it.
Yes.
However, the path it takes to seek it is riddled with a lot of nets, traps, and snares along the fucking way.
Sure is. Because that's what it takes. How I see it is, as we each have aspects in our template, there are challenges each time. And because we're not aware, we're not taught to follow pattern recognition and learn about our soul desires and purposes and template aspects, we're not even on a ship. We're just drowning in the ocean, being thrown to and fro.
Blown and tossed, man. And people that are double-minded in context to triangulation are going to continue to be blown and tossed. That's how triangulation operates. When you go to reconcile, which is the goal in terms of the spindle of energy force, the wand of fire, every time you go to reconcile, you hit that challenge. You hit that fucking parasitized encounter that is designed to throw you into fear. Automatically, right there, boom. And then it hits the solar plexus and then pulls you the fuck down. So in context to the original template, we're pulling up from the lower template. That's the trajectory to the ignition of core intelligence from the heart. And then you take your goddamn fucking throne back. You got to take back the will. Fire up, water down. The mystery of fire water, the magic of fire water. Therefore, the action people are taking, it's the path of sun, moon, and stars, the path of sun, moon, and Mars. Input for output. And this is why we have to be careful what we put before the windows of our fucking soul, which is your physical eyes.
And then with screens, it's very extreme, what people are putting in front of them.
Yep. And here, at least we get to decide. But the question is, what are you deciding, people?
Right. Are you aware that you get to decide? And most aren't. Most have been dispossessed of that awareness.
Right, because they don't know how to use this technology correctly, let alone know the hour that we are in, why all of this is happening in the fucking world, and seeing the benefit. And like I've said, using this technology the correct way. And another word for technology is magic. People want to argue whether or not this is AI. This is not fucking AI. People have no fucking idea what the real AI agenda is. It's just all this other fucking shit that they're calling AI, conditioning the mind to accept it in terms of a benefit.
Starts with the state of mind.
Right. So they're already gearing up the wiring of the psyche of most people that are going to be pulled into this fucking bullshit, man. They're first eye blind. It's appalling otherwise when you actually do see it for what the fuck it is.
It is appalling. It's a lot of nihilism and then a lot of coercion and manipulation.
How do you observe that?
I just see it on a daily basis in interactions. Unfortunately, I see it most often from the female kind. They have been distorted in terms of their perception to use men, learning how to do marketing and sell things, and everyone's trying to sell something to each other, but they don't realize that they're not actually bringing a benefit. Every exchange should have a benefit. It should be a symbiotic exchange.
Would you say
And
that this exchange that we have had since we've started has been a benefit?
it's been a total symbiosis. I feel benefited because I am taking my life in my direction. So when you spend your resources, I love choosing this. This makes me feel alive. And that's the opposite of what's happening in most cases. In terms of the political scheme, the Democrats are creating a horrific reverse of real charity. Real charity would be teaching, is what this temple does. And the last thing I'd like to speak on is nihilism. There's a lot of nihilism going on where people are literally giving away their souls. And what that creates is that fear energy. This is one of the main points I wanted to ask you about today is what is fear?
Before I go into what I'd say, how do you define fear?
It's a limiting force. It's a involution. It's degrading. It's the opposite of evolving and growing. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, I can correlate that. Fear is a devouring force of despair. Total, utter fucking despair and hopelessness. And there's a lot of shame that comes with that. What's the difference between guilt and shame? Guilt is what is projected upon you, upon others, whereas shame is what you project upon yourself in denial of your fucking soul. And that fucking thorn that's in everyone's fucking chest, they do everything they can to suppress it for fear. And the cortisol factor as well, it's very addictive when people get swept up into very toxic, devouring situations, because then your primal instinct kicks the fuck in. Your adrenaline's fucking pumping, it's fight or flight. And people that get swept up in that have no peace. And we cannot be in our true power and alignment unless we are at peace, having a sense of true inner peace, no matter what the fuck is going on. The circle of the magician, I equate this to nature, as like a hurricane. Now it's a question of whether or not you are within the eye of the storm, warded and protected in terms of what's swirling around you. And that's the fucking world. In the context of Fenrir, which is a devouring force, the antithesis of what the symbol of Straga actually is in context to the wolf, which is the higher force. All the inverted malevolent forces can do is mimic surfaces, twist, invert, distort, confuse things in context to symbolism. And then when the real comes forward, like it has with the temple, it's confronting the fear that people are conditioned to and is speaking directly to the soul. When I speak forward, I'm speaking from that place. And there's a difference. There's a difference in tone. There's a difference in terms of expression versus someone that is in fear. It could look similar on the surface, but it has no fucking power. You get my point?
Absolutely. I hear it in people's voices every day. I hear fear, I hear restraint, I hear limitation.
Yeah. It's very difficult to authentically express yourself. Bruce Lee even made this statement. Because to draw in the current necessary for that to be authentic, you have to go into the depths of your soul and draw it forth, the gold of consciousness. This is what they want to fucking harvest. We're looking at the whole gambit in terms of reality. There are winners in life and there are fucking losers. Saying stop being a fucking loser. Nowadays, everyone wants a goddamn participation trophy for fucking suffering. Shut the fuck up. Nobody fucking cares. You want to come into a situation, start complaining, bitching, and moaning about your fucking circumstances? Well, what the fuck do you want me to do about it? I'll encourage and empower you to rise, motherfucker. Saturn's retrograde right now. A lot of the challenges that we face and we don't even know we're facing, boom, they fucking manifest. Right in front of your fucking face, there's the opportunity. But with a lot of people, man, they get pulled back in for another fucking round of devourment in terms of that condition. Every time you go to bust through these gates of transcendence, people are getting sucked into a fucking simulation. The whole concept of simulation theory, that's the overlay. Disconnecting people further from nature and the universe and the actual quest of rights when it comes to incarnation into this fucking realm. Everyone's treading it the fuck out. You fucking losers. Fucking losers.
The fuck are they creating?
That's what I would say in a nutshell in context to fear. Fear, again, is a devouring force. It emanates from the parasite. It's apophis. It's a constricting, devouring thing. So anytime we start to feel that, you can feel it. Your whole nervous system is getting nailed. You have to throw your energy and match that shit in terms of courage, because the current of fear to courage, the difference between the two is a choice, a free will choice to decide from a place of observation what you're going to fucking do. You have to own your shit. You're going to have to take some fucking losses in life. How are you going to fucking evolve or know how to win correctly if you don't get your fucking ass handed to you? Because every time you do, your whole perception when it comes to how you see yourself, some people get beat down so fucking hard in life, they just fucking give up. I just made a post on the temple page sharing an article that was written in terms of werewolf command. You can go ahead and read it.
Can I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nothing is ever certain except that nothing ever is. For whatever reason, destiny chose us to be here, now, alive and burning with fire in this dark age that seems to be growing ever darker. But et lux in tenebris lucet, and light shines in the darkness. The darker it seems, the brighter the stars shine. The brighter the fires we light as beacons blaze into the blackness. They shine in rebellion. They shine in an unrelenting defiance of the foul masters of this unrighteous place. We see so much that empties our hearts and drains our passions. We feel grief in knowing that there seems to be so little that we can do. What can we do? Who are we but just men? Therein lies the answer, that awful and brutal truth. We are just men, truly just men, forever at war with the injustice and the lies and the filth this world attempts to stain us within a crushing bid to extinguish the brightness that it so desperately hates and wishes to destroy forever. In a world where nothing is certain, we must be certain of one thing: ourselves, our ideals, our loyalties, and our kinships to those things that we chose to believe in and to fight in a never-ending war to see exist and to go on. Not only for us, but for our sons and daughters, whose one inheritance will be the world we leave to them, the blood we give them to operate within as kings and queens of whatever era dawns for them when we are gone forever. And it is for this that we must truly be certain. Empires get wrecked, principles get crushed, saviors get crucified, history gets over all of it.
And this is what people need to do as far as all this bullshit is concerned. Get the fuck over it and rise.
We cannot abandon the fight.
Fuck no. That's why I shared it in the temple. And the individual that wrote that, the idea, again, our rights to life, the birthrights of mankind. This is what we have to own if we're going to evolve past the bullshit that's working to devour us in these times. Look at the conditioning. Look how fucking fucked up and weakened people have become. And then you're met with the fucking programming and the gnashing of the teeth of the demons that are riding these motherfuckers, devouring them, trying to jump on you. Fuck you.
That's right.
It's looking for any hook point, dude. And this is why we do the real work, cleansing and purging our fields, our morphogenetic fields, our auric fields. Going back to based protocol, learning how to master the science of the circle and magician, being the fucking storm that if you try to fuck with me, it's going to be unleashed. I'm over here living in peace. I'm in my lane. I'm kicking life's ass. And I'm working with people that are doing the same fucking thing. I'm getting the results. You're getting the results. I'm good. You're good. Despite the fucking bullshit. And when you start rising the fuck up, you can expect to have a fallout with people that aren't going where the fuck you're going. Sometimes you gotta let it go. Sometimes you gotta fucking lose in order to win and continue moving forward. Going all the way back to when you fucked up every fucking time you had the opportunity to rise and move the fuck forward. Depending on what it is, it can fuck people up the rest of their entire fucking lives.
Yes, there could be a full-on impression that goes on.
It was imprinted that fucking hard. They cannot break out of it.
Just from one moment, yeah.
And things in terms of trauma-based mind control. That is the main tactic, to keep you fucking traumatized, to keep you fucking fractured, to keep you splintered. But with enough losses and victories, otherwise, you know how to keep on advancing no matter fucking what. You're still on the rise. You're still climbing the mountain of self-mastery to get to that peak. But you see a lot of motherfuckers in the world climbing to the peak of Mount Stupid because they're conditioned to think that that's liberation, abdicating all of my fucking responsibility in terms of incarnation. Everything's just going to be handed to me on a silver fucking goddamn platter, and I have to take the goddamn real fucking quest to evolve this fucking realm.
And that's Loki's boat, right? Everyone's grabbing onto it.
Everyone's clinging to that shit for dear fucking life because the programming is running so hard within their fucking templates, they can't gauge anything else otherwise. And given to extreme levels, they get fully fucking devoured. Ironically, that scene in The Matrix when Neo lets Agent Smith fucking take him. It goes back to what I said. Sometimes you have to lose in order to win. Let them think weak where you're strong and strong where you're weak. This is a mind game.
Art of war.
It's a psi war. We are in World War III right fucking now.
Yeah.
And all of these people on the level of where they have taken things and are going to continue to take things is going to perpetuate a path of self-annihilation. Denial of the soul, denial of the body politic. Go ahead and castrate yourself. Are you fucking retarded?
No, and it's actually
with that fucking fluoride stare. What's the big deal? Fuck.
It's in the fucking Bible. Yeah, the eunuchs and shit like that.
That was part of the rites of the Nazarenes. People don't fucking get it, man. And that's not my opinion. That's not my theory.
No, it's a fact.
And we see it happening all across the board again. They couldn't get us in a fight. And our ancestors at that time still had their souls intact.
Right.
They had their traditions intact. They knew who the fuck they were. We've seen a generation get coerced and programmed to things that were not an issue with us growing the fuck up.
Not even close.
Corrupted the genome again. And now you have a certain gene code and we're ignorant of what the fuck is really going on, and later found out through me or anybody else that fucking gets it. Again, we have the nectar of Athanasian. Gold is the only thing that can ward against what this shit actually fucking is, dude. It's a ward.
The main point that I'll bring up right now that actually is running through me, the point of atavistic memory. They're playing on these atavistic memories to just keep us spinning them around.
Yep, it's exactly what Michael Tessarion mentioned to me when we did the Occult Secrets of Atlantis segment.
Right.
It's atavistic.
And that is meant to be healed and used as a catalyst to live your life moving forward, not to be stuck in it. It's supposed to be part of a medicine, these atavistic memories. I find them extraordinary. I have impressions often.
Well, in order to heal not only yourself, but the ancestors in context, you have to go into that shit. And if people wonder what that word means, it's everything to do with relating to or characterized by reversion to something ancient or ancestral.
Mm-hmm.
And most people in the world, they don't know who the fuck they are. I mean, you got Ancestry.com and people sending in their blood, which I don't fucking advocate. If people want to get a reading, we have the blood codes read available.
And you can remember within yourself.
Right, and this belongs to fucking everybody. The right to know, the right to remember.
The right to use your mind, activate your whole biospiritual capabilities.
Being in your creative capacity and having a sense of purpose, destiny, what are you here to implement?
Everyone is coerced, programmed to implement almost the same thing. Get the same 100% on this test, and this. But what if it was distributed across the board where people are actually displaying and performing what they've learned based on their template, and everyone gets to perform and display different things?
That would be fucking interesting. You probably get more insights and more things happening in that way, obviously, than everyone being corralled to be a goddamn piston.
I think that in terms of people manipulating, coercing, hating, fighting, it's because we're not displaying our templates in ourselves.
All of that's programmed. It's programming to the divide and conquer. It's programming to also the condition that people don't fully understand they're dealing with, condition against their soul. Because the soul in alignment doesn't act like that. The only purpose to all that fucking shit goes back to this parasitic consciousness designed to devour, to tear down, to destroy. What the fuck is the point of that? Well, sometimes you got to deconstruct in order to get down to the base foundation and start building correctly. If you don't build things on the correct foundation, it doesn't matter what you start to fucking build. If there's a weak link in the chain and people cannot adhere to first principles in terms of a project or a way of living and being, it's not going to fucking last. And if you really fuck up, well, you're going to have to face the consequences. We have to own our choices. We have to own the consequences. And if you could do that with no fear, even if you fucking lose and get your ass kicked, you're going to rise again. You're going to continue to move forward. Be able to let go. Stop clinging to Loki's boat.
Mm-hmm.
The bird of paradise comes only to an open hand, like I've said, like was shown to me years ago in terms of a certain philosophy. We can't experience albedo otherwise. We cannot experience the phoenix rise. It's impossible. You just get caught in the shadowlands, dragged through all of this atavistic fucking shit that, yes, has to be integrated. We go to slay the inner tyrant. And at that point, it's you versus you. You are your greatest enemy in context. And that's where our true mortal enemy hides itself in the last place we would ever fucking look or even assume. There's a lot of other things that can branch off that poison tree of stagnation and fucking rot that reflects the Kabbalah and the fucking clip-off. The knowledge of good and evil, the false cold light in context to what people would assume is good, but it's all a part of the same fucking evil. You think you're transcending? You think you know the fucking occult? You don't know fucking shit. You're still just getting started.
And the biggest thing is people being obstructed from catharsis.
Chaos versus catharsis, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's excellent.
Yeah, talk about that.
Well, essentially, we're being thrown towards chaos because I'll just start on a base level. You know, there's a lot of judgment with people expressing extreme emotions of anger, frustration, and then there's this a further catharsis of truly losing your mind in terms of conditioning ideas and beliefs that are of fear, that are devouring, that are obstructing, and a storm that arises. If you follow your own soul, it happens often. Some are more extreme than others, but you have different cathartic episodes often. So people are being forced and coerced into therapy, into psychiatry, into all those things, to be coerced into believing that these emotions are not for them, that they're bad for them.
It's to be aware of why they're there in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you're not feeling what you're feeling for no fucking reason. It's just a question of whether or not it's coming from your soul in alignment, wielding magic correctly, or if your emotional capacity is being manipulated. Because again, one of the main tactics, and it's not just thought that we're dealing with, it's the emotional charges that are connected to the radar in context to the gauge of our perception. That's what we deal with more than anything. And men that are led by manipulated emotions, they're fucking fodder. They're milquetoast, fucking weak, Pillsbury doughboy losers.
They're bringing down society, man. They're fucking stupid.
Right, and that's why we as men have to fucking rise. And you exemplify what it means to be a man in fucking alignment. Be kind, but don't take any fucking shit. Go with honor, go with virtue. Again, the code that we live by. These are measures, and they can be measured.
And this word, be generous. And if you look in the word genere, it's about creating. Be generous.
It's like the gene. Generous. What is your gene code designed to create? To be generous with.
Because people even are finding pride in being selfish and being non-generous. What a fucking disadvantage. You know, you're not experiencing what's in your soul.
Right. The word ish is man manipulated. So if you're selfish, this is what Jordan Maxwell explained in terms of etymology. The word ish is the manipulated gene code. So if you're selfish, if you're a selfish motherfucker, think about what that means in terms of what I just said. You can't be generous in context to what you just said. A gene code that's been manipulated. Whatever they touch, they fucking destroy because you're not ignited. The soul, the gene code in terms of being generous and in context to what you said is not activated. And this is why you have to activate the template. And the way it activates for you is specific. The way it activates for me is specific. Even though we're working with the same universal recipe, take it to the moon gate, take it to the sun, take it to your ascendant, take it to all the other planetary gates. And that's just one art. How many other arts of gnosis out there correlate all of these things that are universal and that belong to all of us to utilize as true guides. It's universal. Most of it is eternal axioms, universal laws of metaphysics, the eternal axioms, how things actually work. But how is that designed for you to wield in terms of who you are? Being generous, your creative capacity in terms of expression. Everybody has purpose. Everybody has a reason to exist. But when you fall into that pit of fucking hopelessness and despair, guilt, shame, remorse, you're met with the demon called suicide. And that's the last advent right fucking there. That is the most selfish act that anyone could ever fucking do. And
That's right.
the apex of what nihilism produces.
Yes.
Cancel culture and all this fucking shit. These people are fucking riddled with demons.
I realize our emotions are magic, and we're leaving
Absolutely.
impressions all the time, and psychic projections all the time because of the
You
demons.
can't even do the work on the fucking levels necessary to start really healing and moving through this shit if you're around a bunch of toxic motherfuckers. And I'm not talking about isolation. I'm talking about solitude as a benefit and having a healthy boundary condition and not running out there so vapid and void that you're going to be a friend to everyone. Someone that is a friend to everyone is a friend to fucking no one.
I've been near that place, and it was a terrible feeling. I felt used, disparaged, not seen.
Right.
I wasn't being myself.
Everything that you're expecting to get from others, you're not even giving yourself. It goes back to that relationship with ourselves. The conversations that we have about ourselves with ourselves, facing the mirror, the whole integration process of seeing past the overlays, the distortion, the conditioning, all this different kind of fucking shit. The assumed identity will work to do everything it can to convince you that this is who the fuck you are. It does everything it can, no matter how absurd. And because it's happening on an unconscious atavistic level with most fucking people, they just go with it. And there's many different levels and tiers and extremes where it could also be a little bit less with others. It's on a flux, man. But imagine a generation, imagine a people, imagine a tribe, imagine individuals that are fully ignited their fucking template. What would that look like? It would be unstoppable. We would know how to come together. We would know how to conduct ourselves correctly. And we would be doing kick-ass fucking shit that's going to inspire other fucking people.
To rise.
There's the gauntlet. There's the dark corridor everyone's so afraid of. No, that's your path to liberation, you fucking pussy. They want to take the grass path up the fucking mountain. They don't want to fucking descend before they ascend. And you go down that false path of the false lights and the fucking bliss bullshit and thinking that that's what's going to fucking get you there. It is ecstasy that we are working to achieve in terms of clarity. Ecstasy trumps bliss beyond what anybody else out there could fucking imagine. And this is my vantage point. Agree with me or not, it doesn't fucking matter. Truth doesn't need you to agree with it for it to be fucking true. It doesn't give a fuck because it knows it's not an assumption. It's not speculation. It's not theory. I can tell just from remembering when we first started corresponding with each other that you have definitely made leaps and bounds in terms of your progression rate, the healing factor, getting things going on the level that you want. It's absolutely excellent.
Thank you.
And focused path work that not has only got me results, but you results and others as well that are actually doing it.
And the main point that I would like to relay is an experience I've had over and over and over since I took initiation in February. And ever since then, I keep having these almost daily, probably daily, actually. I'll have this feeling of, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. This feels fearful or anxious. But then all of a sudden, bam, that's me. When before that, I was in denial. So it starts to clear things when you start to learn about yourself and your template. It starts to clear distortions and things that were limiting you. And it's just this feeling of fire within you that is me. That is me. That's how I am. And I cannot embrace it enough. And it evolves and changes as time goes on. And then the other point I wanted to make is this significant, extraordinary way that the Temple of the White Dragon teaches in terms of alchemy, in terms of astro-psychological alchemy, because it starts with your state of mind first. So that's the first principle and tenet. And we're using alchemy in that sense. So in the past, the psychological sciences of gnosis have been dispersed and quartered off or told that's false, like the tarot and other things, divination arts and sciences. But here we are bringing it back and also fusing in a synergistic fashion, in an alchemical fashion. And that's been the most extraordinary thing for me, because I have been thinking that way in other terms throughout my life. I was a swimming coach, and I would start to teach people in a different way than any of the other coaches around me were. And it was because I was fusing ideas from psychology, from music even. I was watching music and how people swim, like in terms of their rhythm and their strength, like, forte, piano, andante. Like I was infusing music into swimming. And we can do that everywhere. And I'm using alchemy in my garden. I'm saying, we should have these colors together because they could create this vibe. If you have purple and yellow together in terms of what each of those vibrations of color wavelength emit, what do you want in your garden?
And whatever seeds you plant, they're going to fucking grow. Whatever seeds you plant in context to mind are going to take fucking roots.
Yeah.
And if you water them enough, they'll go fucking wild.
Yeah, and what kind of water are you watering with?
Exactly.
Does it have fluoride in it?
Exactly. And again, we have the nectar, which primes our physical body to go through this process integration of the alchemical rites of initiation. And it correlates everything. It correlates all the arts. And working with the art and sciences correctly in terms of protocol, knowing how to approach them the correct way to extract the actual proper knowledge and wisdom that is there, and not given over to ideologies and assumptions and all this other fucking new age bullshit or whatever the fuck is out there when it comes to these things, especially in context of fucking religion. Because the last thing that our mortal fucking enemy wants us to remember is who the fuck we are. Know thyself. Then you will come to know nature in terms of your connection to it, your template, how things actually work in context to cosmic law. Knowing how to throw the circle, making connection to core intelligence, and having that trajectory that stretches far beyond any fucking timeline that's going to pull you into the fucking abyss otherwise. When you send out that line, which is a true lifeline, and then you're able to anchor that into the realm from a place of core intelligence, strap the fuck in, motherfuckers, because you're in for a crazy fucking ride. You're going through portals. You're fucking ripping through wormholes and sealing that shit the fuck up. You're slaying fucking horrific monsters in terms of this fucking quest. And then you break out into a crest, and it's the most beautiful scene that you've ever fucking witnessed. And then you take in that breath, what life force energy is in context of what it means to be a breatharian is nothing to do with breathing air. It's to do with breathing life force energy, that which is eternal. And until we all become breatharians again, everyone needs to shut the fuck up.
We got to be focused on our life force and will force, where we're directed.
Because when you connect to life force energy and you know how to streamline life force energy, there was a point in the past before the great cataclysms happened that humanity was able to sustain itself in connection to eternity, anchored here in Midgard. But all universal worlds have been essentially, cut the fuck off, manipulated the spindle of the true universal tree of life, which all goes back to Yggdrasil. There are 9 universal worlds, and our universe is one of those universes. And they're all converging here at the spearhead of evolution. And this is what we are ripping through in terms of being that fucking spear. Creating that trajectory in terms of the ancient future, not only unto ourselves, but for the future generations. Obviously, if people can't fucking catch what the fuck I've been talking about for years now, or anybody else in network on the fucking level that really fucking gets it, they're doing everything they can to conceal it. It can't be destroyed. It's eternal. It's always going to be present. And it goes back to people's templates and context and how that correlates to the law of correspondence and our disconnect from nature and the universe, which also is a cause point of us being disconnected with ourselves and one another. To say that we're all one and we're all one source, and it's just fucking bullshit. This goes back to grid works of consciousness and what people's templates are either keyed into or what they're not keyed into. Do you have the key codes to even unlock the fucking gates of true intelligence in the first place?
Right.
It's a specific key. This isn't a general thing in context of a general teaching. It's specific to your template. The idea is general. The principle is general. But how does that work for you versus me versus this guy over here, this woman over there?
Right.
My key is not going to work in terms of unlocking your template. That's what worked for me in terms of unlocking my own. So we go on this quest to find the keys to the kingdom. And if you have the key to unlock that first gate, going back to the science of the circle, you're going to have that lifeline thrown out in terms of your trajectory, your life, and it's going to be a true guide for you. And it's going to show you the fucking difference. You might flux, you might sway, you might get your ass kicked, you might fall down, but you're going to get back up every single fucking time and continue forward. Why? Because there's still life to live. There's still that vision. There's still that sense of purpose. You can never let anything rob you of that. If you do, or even willingly, like people are conditioned to, you will inevitably fucking suffer. And then want to blame all of this other shit that's happening around you that people are unconsciously on an atavistic level consenting to. At the end of the day, nobody else is going to have anything else to blame except themselves. And that is the worst type of fucking suffering. Again, when you deny your own fucking soul. Fuck, you want to talk about weeping and gnashing of fucking teeth and eternal fucking torment? Fuck. I'd rather go through the pain of working to achieve what I am here to accomplish as a fucking man in this realm. And even potentially fucking fail in my attempt than to be a coward, to be a slave, and to settle for fucking less for fear.
Yes.
People have come and gone. Others have remained. I'll be fucking honest with everybody. I know how fucking brutal it is. You want to talk about despair and hopelessness, guilt, shame, remorse? I have experienced all of those things on very, very, very deep, horrific fucking levels. But I don't want to relate to people in terms of fucking suffering. What's your vision? What are your goals? What's your objective? What's your fucking purpose? What's up, man?
Exactly.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Not to relate based on their victimhood.
Okay.
It's to relate based on.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was just talking to this guy. He's out now. Anyway, you were saying, go ahead.
It's to not relate based on victimhood. It's to relate based on vision.
Exactly. And going back to what you were saying, that's what it means to be truly generous. Not just give, and think by doing that you're gonna not be taken fucking advantage of.
You lose yourself. Yeah, you lose resources. People take advantage. All sorts of things start to snowball.
Yep.
It happened to me. Yeah.
It's happened to everybody. It's happened to the best of us, man. And it doesn't fucking work like that because there's some fucked up motherfuckers out there that don't give a fuck about being your fucking friend. That don't give a fuck about being your fucking ally.
They prey upon weakness. Yeah, they're looking for it.
Yeah, if you're just so wide the fuck open. Remind me of what your moon, your sun, and your ascendant are.
Aquarius moon, Aries sun, Sagittarius ascendant.
So you have the air magician and the fire magician and that spark of warrior prowess with Sun Gate.
That's right.
What are your house placement aspects with each gate?
Moon in the 3rd house, sun in the 4th.
Okay, so your moon is in Aquarius in the 3rd house and your sun is in Aries in the 4th house. And your ascendant is in Sagittarius. I can gauge you're on it and getting results. Really, at the end of the day, the question is, are you getting results in terms of your path work? There has been a shit ton of fucking warfare, especially on my end, because things are going to the next level. Anytime you get challenged, anytime you get setbacks, delays, monkey wrenches, all this different kind of stuff, that's when we really need to be applying what we know, knowing the difference. And it's also when it's tested. That's never going to change. Why? Because we're in this fucking war. And until there's enough fucking people that learn to fucking remember otherwise, and we come together and we route this shit the fuck out together, it's going to continue. In terms of my disposition when it comes to my astropsychological template, on top of other fucking templates that correlate so many other arts and sciences, not just that, I am able to pick up on literally everything. It was what I was gauging around me in the fucking realm. I did not fucking like it at all. What's the point of individuation if we can't make the correlation otherwise?
It's non-duality.
How can something that is truly eternal express itself in so many fucking ways that it's not able to evolve itself? It's getting fucking devoured. To that ideology, to that concept, I can't agree. This isn't me going off on people that could be working with that fucking concept. It's the fucking knowledge that is off based. We're not going to become any fucking accord unless we become one with ourselves and actually make connection to the higher force and then meet people on the same level that have made that fucking connection. If they haven't, then it's not a factor in terms of being one. They got all these issues and problems in their fucking lives, all this fucking crazy shit. And this is why certain individuals in my network have issue in terms of the quote unquote freedom community or the truther community or whatever fucking community. It doesn't fucking matter. Because from my vantage point, nothing has worked on the level to transcend the current paradox that continues to flip on itself. You get to a certain point and then it flips on itself and then you're back to fucking square one. Caught in samsara's wheel. This is the Ouroboros. This is Apophis. Apophis is ignorance. Apophis is darkness. There is no darkness but ignorance. And the contrast between light and dark is the antithesis of the evil fucking twin of the true darkness, which is the false cold light. How are people to distinguish between that versus the true light ignited the soul? How have you been able to gauge the difference in terms of your experience?
For me, it's a somatic sense, a devouring anxiety, an inaction, inability to act, versus a warm sense of momentum and pushing and yearning and desire. But it's in your body and mind. One is anxious, stuck, and the other is this flowing momentum of, I don't only want to do something, I have to do something. And it feels like I am full of electricity or just a light humming. Depends on the activity, but there's a forward momentum. There's a peace around the action. There's no kind of anxious thoughts throwing you off. And the action, is in alignment when it is a grounded feeling. For example, I'd say I could lose sleep in two ways. I could lose sleep because I want to be up doing something, or I could lose sleep because I'm anxious. But I've lost sleep because I wanted to play guitar all night, or go for a walk.
Exactly.
In the middle of the night.
That's really how it is for me. I want to be in my creative capacity all the fucking time. I just want to do shit and be generous, coming together with others on the fucking level. But you can't if you live in fear.
It's stifling.
It fucks you up, man.
And yes, it's stifling, but when people that you're around are emanating that, it stifles you.
I can fucking smell it. I confront it. I confront it every fucking time. If someone comes in with that type of fucking current, I might not say something right away. I'm pretty cordial in terms of how I confront shit, but sometimes, man, I go the fuck off. And I go the fuck off because I care. Not only about my well-being, but don't be bringing that shit into my fucking domain. I'm not bringing that to other fucking people.
Yeah, and you could impress upon them to change themselves.
I'm not going to let anyone suck me into their abyss and all their fucking issues and problems. Get the fuck over yourself. Rise the fuck up. We're here to live, not to be devoured. The factor, however, when people are left unto themselves, when the shamans would put people out to the fucking tribe, if they were acting a certain way, they would have to go sit out away from everyone and go through their process of facing their shit. And this is why there was so much fear of getting cast out of the fucking tribe, because out in the fucking wilderness, that's where all the fucking monsters are that are going to fucking devour your ass. But think about what that means psychologically speaking, especially when you abandon yourself. You can be around a whole bunch of people that want the best for you, but you're not slaying your fucking shit. So whether to a metaphor, take it to a philosophy, this is how we live. And all the fucking beasts that are parasitized, we're going to have to fucking face them. This is what the rites in ancient times required, that you braved the labyrinth and slay the fucking minotaur at the fucking center. Then the path through will be revealed to you. You'll get the key to the gate to transcend that paradox. And the Minotaur, the Minotaurians, who are another faction, by the way, have to get fucking slain, man. You got to take back your treasure from the Shadowlands. And there's no bypassing this in terms of our rights to life. And this is why the world has become so fucking weakened, because the rites of initiation and the rights to life unto the birthright have been concealed. I'm here offering that because of how powerful this pathwork actually fucking is. Having gone through the rites myself, But I don't think there's anything else out there like Black Earth Productions or Temple of the White Dragon, except for those that I'm affiliated with that operate on a similar philosophy and principles, first principles, fundamentals, living by this fucking code and getting the results and kicking life's ass and coming together as a tribe, doing things that are going to be an inspiration for those to whom it's meant. I got to be the one to create this, which led further to things manifesting and connections being made on a similar trajectory. Everything that we are seeking is already there within us. And then its correspondence in terms of manifestation in the realm. But you got to get on that frequency and you got to stop looking outside of yourself, go within and make that anchor to it so it can manifest. And then that's when you start to rise. You're pulling yourself up out of that pit of despair. You're pulling yourself up and out that pit of hopelessness, guilt, shame, remorse, suicide's clawing at your fucking legs, trying to pull you down into the fucking abyss to be devoured.
It's unacceptable.
Why are we fighting? What are we really up against here? I'm bored, so I'm just going to come up with the most fucked up scenario I can imagine. It's just drama with the neighbor or some bullshit that fucking happened at work. No. That's fucking child's play.
Right.
And if people can't get past those corridors just in terms of life in general, good fucking luck. Here, I have to operate like Pai Mei in this motherfucker. You're going to be tested. And if you're not fucking ready, you're going to get your ass handed to you. People's steel is going to get tested. My steel is tested every single fucking day in terms of certain circumstances. This shit I'm going through right now, it was a major fucking tower. Yeah. Saying to myself, what the fuck? And I have been able to very quickly shift gears, create opportunity in alignment with my vision and what I want to have manifest and what I want to be experiencing. And we already got a green light and all the dominoes are fucking lined the fuck out. That trajectory is right there. It didn't go away. Here's the thing. If something doesn't pan out, always know this, that better is coming. Exactly. Unless you royally fucked up and now you got to face the fucking consequences. But if you're in alignment and you're kicking ass and all this shit happens, things sometimes are out of our fucking control. And because it happens from time to time, it doesn't mean that that trajectory isn't still fucking anchored and is going to manifest a different way. If something's dead, it's fucking dead and you got to let it the fuck go and you got to move forward. It's one of the most difficult things. But I'm a Scorpio, so I understand the whole concept of life and death and rebirth. And it's just a matter of recourse, man. And as long as you stay focused on your vision, your sense of purpose as a man, and you're operating upright, living by this fucking code, you're going to continue to get the results. And you will be the influence wherever the fuck you go. You're not living in the realm of effect. People will sense this emanating off you.
Oh, it's happening. The cause point.
Tell me about how it is.
I'll tell you, man, the cause point that I've created has been overwhelming at times in terms of work because that has been my focus because I'm a landscaper. I have had a 5-fold increase from last year. And it's because I put this pathwork into alignment and put forth the intention to become a community leader. And that's exactly what's happening. You know, I'm part of a martial arts studio, so there's a lot of high school kids there. And I want to get an initiative of restoring different parts of the forest to bring native plants in, to stop erosion of our creeks and streams. All these amazing things are happening that are generous. You know, they're generating life for people around us. And that's my experience.
Awesome,
man. It's been fantastic. It's been fantastic.
So you're definitely feeling more confident, more self-assured. And when you step into these situations, man, you're just boom. You're solid, man. Yeah. You're not being affected by all this other stuff happening in the fucking world, even though you're aware of it. Again, like I've said, it doesn't constitute true awakening. What constitutes true awakening? What would be the point of waking up if we don't fucking remember? Remembering is what is going to get us there, like I said in my most recent segment. And there's still a whole lot fucking more that people need to fucking remember past all of this fucking bullshit that people seem to be obsessed about. The dark ones and what they're fucking doing. Yeah, I expose it, but I bring the course correct as well. That's the difference here with the fucking temple. Because I have remembered and you are starting to remember as well. That's the fucking goal. And working with the trajectory of your template, the way it works for you is unique versus me versus other people. That's the key. That's really the key. And then we can come together after a certain time and share our testimonies. And your testimony is powerful. Just to make the fucking point, the occult secrets of Carpathia. And that map that I shared is a map that I laid out in terms that's going to get us there. It could take years. I don't give a fuck. We have to go at pace. We have to operate like fucking ninjas, and we have to operate on a certain strategy, know when to engage, make strikes, and know how to pull back and disappear.
Yeah, we don't go
They
out.
can't hone in and triangulate in on your field, on your fucking life. And if anything tries to fucking fuck with you, it's going to get its ass fucking handed to itself. Fear, like I've said, anytime we experience it, that's evil trying to hook the fuck in. What is that to do with an ignited template in terms of soul and your eternal spirit? Nothing. There is no fucking hook point.
The last statement I'd like to make is using these divination arts and sciences to the ends of the biospiritual regenesis is prime purpose here, and everything will flower out from there. Very grateful for the teachings and to be here.
Fuck yeah. Excellent. All right, Cornelius, I'll go and wrap this up. Keep me posted with everything. If there's anything else, just let me know.
Sure will, man. Be in touch soon.
Excellent. Excellent.
Too.
And with that, everyone go into the description below. Check out the website at blackearthproductions.com. Line things out for level 1 apprentice for rites initiation into the mystery school with the 20% off discount. The way that things are set up with the temple, this is one-on-one mentorship in terms of initiation into the occult. Other things are made available, as well as our products and the nectar of Athanasia, which is quite literally the most powerful elixir on the face of the entire earth. Things are archived within the Black Earth Library, which is also made available for those that would inquire, that reveal much more in detail as far as what it's capable of, and all the source material that has been entrusted as far as this mystery school is concerned within our realm. Archives you're not going to get anywhere else on the level, let alone know how to correlate everything in terms of actual rites of initiation and embracing higher consciousness capacity in order to navigate things correctly and master this existence by remembering not only who you are, but why you are in terms of incarnation, to our rights to life, pulling things back into alignment in terms of the original timeline trajectory. Send me a direct email at blackearthproductions with an S at the end at hotmail.com. We'll get back with you in terms of everything so that we can line this out and continue to expand and promote the power and current with which Temple of the White Dragon is brought forth on Black Earth Productions. So as to wrap things up with this segment, who would pray to anything but the mountain and wish for anything but lightning to split the night? And who would praise anything but the sun above that brings each rise to our radiant day? What man he places faith in his heart above the animal that rages deep inside? What man begs forgiveness yet lies his whole life? And let the animal hunt on the mountainside, and let the lightning split my heart in two, and let me howl at the moon with desire, and stretch out my arms wide to embrace the central sun. This is Sethikus Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon. Be empowered, be encouraged.
Traitor!